we may move around on some of these because obviously we're adding these as we go. One of the things different about this particular board than the last board, I wanna make sure the public understands, is that you're gonna see a lot more items in the new business, which will be for discussion only. They are not gonna be made motions. As in, this board feels that the public has a right to not only be part of the discussion, but understand the discussion, get their bearings on what they're actually going to be voting for, and then at a future meeting, whether it be the next meeting or the following, voting at that time. So a lot of these items we're not gonna be making motions for, some of them we will have to, but some of them we're not gonna be making motions, it's just for a general discussion, which I will allow some of the public to also discuss as well, okay? Alright, first one, discuss and consider remediation, recommendation of the zoning hearing board application for Pottsgrove Hunt Associates. I need to recall, that's the application for the Pottsgrove Hunt thing.
What?
Yeah, that's this thing right here. So that's part of the legal notice and everything like that, with West Pottsgrove building and such like that, regarding the property known as 1501 Kumura, how do you say that, Kumura Road, over in Pottstown parcel. Alright, this is to permit a garage that will be located within a front yard setback. Again, I'm guessing they're just asking. Usually on these, we just simply stay neutral, send it to the zoning board,
Yes.
let the zoning board decide on what they're going to do. Pretty much that's all we're doing here, is unless there's a reason why this particular board would prefer to say yay or nay, we generally just send it back to zoning and let them do it. Right? Is there any
Just-
questions?
I know,
Just a
Question
little,
first.
well, a little context. It wasn't exactly clear in the documents, but it looks like this is, I was curious about why Pottsgrove Hunt was asking for this. Because it's the original Coomer homestead, is what they're asking for. It's a garage right there at the corner of Coomer and Pine Ford Road. And it had to do with the original homestead and an extra garage there. So I wasn't quite sure about why Pottsgrove Hunt was involved.
Yeah, I
And,
know.
it's not building a new garage somewhere in the Pottsgrove Hunt retirement community. It's actually the original homestead property that is on the map, so.
We're talking, is
That's really all I know. I mean, the map shows.
Howard, you know?
No, it's just it's a particular type of garage. It looks like a rather big garage, but I'm not exactly sure how big it is.
I think we need to look into it.
You have the
So
more details?
you're saying they wanna build a garage in the front yard?
Correct.
So you're
It says a variance to the garage, a front yard setback, as in whatever the front yard setback is. I don't know
so
what the setback is,
You're
12
gonna-
feet?
I'm
10 feet?
sure it's more than that.
if you approve that though, you're gonna open a can of.
We're not approving it. No.
can of worms though, because
We would not approve anything here. We would simply be saying we're sending it to the zoning department and the zoning committee to decide as into, through the zoning rules, as in what they recommend to the board. We're gonna stay neutral, as in just say, not yes, not no. Zoning, you guys know, you're the ins and outs, you're the ones that know, you're the experts when it comes to whether this should or should not be approved. You guys let us know if it is a good deal or a bad deal.
So, but if that's approved, that means the other one that was filed earlier this year will, move forward and, try to get theirs passed. And we're gonna be having garages in every front yard around here.
Was the other one denied or approved?
No, so the other one has been put off, they're trying to build a garage in the front yard, and they're trying to build it 5 feet from my property. And they're trying to, build it in the right of way, basically, cause their house is only 52 feet, front yard is only 52 feet. And the road is not straight, they're not going by the, corner markers, they're going by the road, and the road is not straight, so the road is on my one property, actually, and not where it belongs. Which isn't a problem, but what I'm saying is, if this moves forward.
I
and
can
this is
understand your
passed,
concern, sure.
we're gonna have this fella trying to say, hey, you're favoring them, and now they're gonna want a garage in their front yard, and then it's gonna be a problem for the township.
Yeah, I can understand those concerns. I can see that, right? But right now, I'm gonna ask the board to decide if they wanna stay neutral, negative, or positive. Obviously not positive, but neutral or negative.
Al, we don't have enough detail.
You gotta approve to send it to zoning, otherwise you don't approve anything.
Well, we'll just send it to zoning.
There's a
Right,
way.
that's what
We
I'm
don't
saying.
make the
That's
decision.
what we're not making any
next
decision.
Wednesday.
We're just
We're
sending it to
sending
zoning. That's all we're saying, is send it to zoning for them to figure out exactly what this is supposed to, should or should not be. I'm gonna guess they're gonna back it no, but I don't know, I'm not zoning.
I wanna ask Rich a question.
Go ahead.
Rich, how would this, from what you explained, they seem like two different,
Correct, but you get two lawyers involved, and it's a basket case, and all the township will wanna do is settle it because they won't wanna pay the money. Millions of dollars later, we're in court, law firms rack the bills up to the richest people in the world.
He's not wrong. For right now, we're just gonna sit there and say, let zoning make the decision. All in favor? Any opposed?
nay,
You say no, don't send it to zoning.
No, you don't have a choice.
Don't send it to zoning. You
Nay.
have to send it to zoning.
Okay.
I approve to send it to zoning.
It's already scheduled for Wednesday.
Yeah, I know, it has to go to zoning.
Yeah.
You can say no, but it
I
has to go. It has to go to zoning.
I know.
Alright, next thing. Consider ratification approval for the cleaning services for the police department. This one I will ask to make a motion on a contract that we are working on to make sure that the police department is clean, I believe on a monthly basis? Or is it a
It's weekly.
weekly basis?
Yes.
I believe it, chief, if you can tell exactly the board how much?
I can speak to this a little
Yeah.
bit. The manager had polled, due to the urgency, we needed a cleaner. And it'd been a couple weeks already and, had passed. She had polled the board and got, verbal approval by polling each individual board member. This is ratifying those, polls. We wanna go with Infinity Cleaning, it's $140 a week. While it wasn't necessary, we did go out and get a couple more estimates, and the other estimates were $175 and $258. So, in addition, Infinity Cleaning will probably come up at a future time because they did go through the new building that administration will be in, and they provided a quote for that. So we'll be coming back to you for that as well in the future.
I imagine they have to have special clearances to work in the police department like that?
They do. They have to be fingerprinted, and they have to do CJIS security requirements, training, and those items, and they've been completed.
Chief, is this the same company that's providing service for you now, or?
Yes, they started last week.
Okay.
After the board was polled, they began working. It will be hopefully the same company that will be doing township administration.
Any other questions? This one, you need to make a motion to approve the payment of the contract for the $140 weekly. Can I, someone make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
I need a second? Obviously, we already had discussion, anybody have any questions? No? All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Alright, this one right here, I understand, this is for discussion of Verizon Cable Franchise Agreement. From my understanding, when talking to Michelle, this is in regards to the Verizon setup to where they pay the township for, I believe, the pole, the Verizon telephone pole and such like that. If we do not come to an agreement, or at least start opening up discussions for the agreement, we will lose the funds that are coming in, which can be quite substantial. I don't know, and Michelle couldn't answer it as well, as into why the previous board didn't want to even discuss this. I'm gonna ask you guys know why they didn't wanna discuss it?
no.
No idea.
Well, all it is, it's literally just money coming into the district, it's just a new agreement.
We were aware of it,
Yes.
but it never came up in any discussions with us.
Well, the neat thing about this is it's a consortium. We've joined together with 20 maybe other communities, and we have one
I
guy
read
who
through
knows
that,
what they're doing, you
yes,
know?
and I think I have no problem with it, I think, yeah.
Because what we'd be doing is, we would then be, coming to the board at the next meeting, this was just a discussion part. Coming to the board at the next meeting to approve a particular company, it's a specialized company in
Right.
doing this
Mhm.
contract negotiation.
Right,
And then the next meeting, we would approve it, we would obviously open it up to the public so they can understand what it is and such like that. And then make the approval at the next meeting to hire and do this discussion so we can get this done and resolved before the contract expires.
I mean, this was talked about for quite some time.
Yeah, it was, I was told it was, no, they wouldn't let it come up, I have no
I
idea why.
don't know why.
I asked why, and no one could come
No
up with a
one
reason
knows.
why.
Well, and the reason it's coming up is we do have contract with Verizon, but
Yes.
they're coming to an
Come
end.
to an end,
Yes.
the end of 2026.
Right. So we need to-
Alright, so
Yeah.
this is okay for the move to the
Mhm.
board approval. Alright, we're gonna move it to the board approval next meeting. Alright, let's see. Alright, next one. D, consider authorization for the solicitor to prepare an agreement with Matt Dallas for financial consulting services. So that the public understands, this is gonna be for us to create an audit for an individual that's involved in the community and has been involved with our finances and has a very good understanding of our finances to find out exactly where our money went, who, why, where, all the fun stuff. Is that okay with the board? I need
Oh,
to,
absolutely,
alright,
Absolutely.
you're all for it, right?
Absolutely.
It'll be at
absolutely.
the next board meeting, again, this was just for discussion and to discuss with the public, so the public has any questions, at the next meeting, you guys can make them
Excellent.
as well. Let's see, next one is. Alright, so next one, consider approval for resolution number 795 to reappoint John Dada to the zoning hearing board. Anybody have any issues with appointing him?
No,
Any issues?
Can we make that motion?
We can make that motion.
Make a
if you
motion
want.
to reappoint John Dada to the zoning hearing board. He's
Do I have
been
a
doing that
second?
for,
He's been doing it forever.
forever, second,
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're gonna report him. That takes care of that one. Alright, so here's the next one. First, we gotta talk about I. I is the consideration of rescinding the resolution of number 703. Now, 703, as Kathy had spoke about at the last meeting,
Mhm.
was whether or not board members could be on committee meetings.
mhm,
Now, there was a question whether or not Dave and I could be on particular committees. I was allowed to be on mine because it had nothing to do with voting for the township, which was the planning committee, which I'll have a report for.
but
at
it
the end.
also requires a commissioner to be on.
Then
the
it
board.
requires commissioner. The other
Requires.
one, which Dave would like to be on though, it wasn't whether or not he could be on it or not.
Mhm.
And then, this also would go into a discussion of F. So, I'm gonna bring up F as well, so, because these two kind of like go together.
Mm.
So in F, the discussion we would like to make is whether or not the board would want to consider building a financial budgeting committee, which would be more of a progressive look ahead at making the budget ahead of time. Currently, right now, the township manager does the budget, and literally she is in charge, or he, whoever is the new person, which Michelle and Pat, would do the entire budget themselves with no input at all from the board or anybody else. Literally did it all at the last minute, would present it to the board, pretty much take it or leave it type of deal at December's meeting. Am I understanding this correctly?
no.
I think there was some input.
I think there was a lot of input, but not from you guys.
Not from
Well,
us.
no, not from us,
Not from
no,
them.
we just
True
did
Alright.
cold turkey, there's the budget.
The idea would be, if we're interested in creating an operations financial planning committee that will handle the financial planning, budget, and operations, so that it can be more proactive and more looking longer term, starting at least 6 months ahead of time when it does the budget at least,
Mhm.
then that committee would report back to the board as into, okay, this is what we're looking at going forward and such like that. Is that something the board would like to consider?
I'm
Yeah.
in agreement. I think that's a good idea. Sure.
Is there any questions?
Nope.
I'm gonna open this up to the public. Does the public have any questions in regards to creating a committee like that? Or has any issues with a board member being on that committee? Go ahead, Henry.
Would the committee be paying one of the commissioners
No.
money to be on?
No,
the
there's no
board?
payment.
Okay.
No, this is all voluntary. Any other questions or issues the public may have?
I think it would be, sorry.
Go ahead, make them.
I think it would be important to have at least one commissioner, if not two, on that, because that's who's gonna make the final decision to set the budget, so.
Well, what would
Without a
happen?
commissioner on there, you know, like, how are you gonna steer it in the right direction?
That goes into 703. We'd have to actually rescind 703 to allow that to happen. Then at the next meeting, provided everybody wants to move this forward, we would then discuss as into whom, how, and what we would create in that committee. Whether it be a 2-person, 3-person, 4-person, obviously cannot have a quorum of board members. At most, it could have is two. You can't have more than two anyway, if it wanted to. Would the board like to consider moving that forward for an actual motion in the future? There's more discussion, it's not,
I know, I'm thinking, you know what I said the first time, that I just don't think board members, us, the commissioners, should have two votes on anything.
it's not a vote.
Well, no, not tonight,
It's just, no, what I mean by,
the
on the
committee,
committee, it's not gonna be a voting committee.
okay,
It's gonna be an advisory committee as into, this is what we are
Right.
looking at.
okay.
They,
And
they
how-
don't have a vote,
Who is going to, how many, we're gonna have people from the community,
not on the planning and financial.
non-planning and financial,
No, that's a separate committee that we're looking at.
so we're just gonna have commissioners.
We would
Oh,
have,
planning?
no, you would have, what I would consider and
Right.
recommend, would you have one or two of the commissioners, the township manager, and one other staff member. That's my recommendation,
Okay.
does not mean you follow that recommendation, you can change it however you like.
All right, I see what you're saying.
Not having been on the board when it was functioning, like, the way you presented it as far as like the manager comes in and does this and dots on your desk, that's not what happens. I mean, I didn't have to be on the board to know that, she just didn't create it out of whole cloth. I know that she had.
Be it one
and
person, I
There would
talked
have
to
been
her
a lot
about
of consultation with somebody on the board.
it was
Yeah.
one.
It just didn't fall out of the air.
No,
Okay, so
no,
that budget was a reflection of what the board wanted. And that's all,
I know what you're
that's
saying.
what it was.
I know what you're
At
saying.
least the majority of the board.
Mhm.
And I think that's all we're talking about here, is just to make it
Okay.
official, that there's gonna be identified board people that are gonna be reporting back to the rest of the board about what they're doing.
That is correct.
That's all I'm hearing here.
All right,
That is
that was
correct.
different from what I thought we
No,
originally talked
that's
about.
what I'm talking about.
Okay, got it, no, no questions.
I got a comment.
Go ahead.
I just wanna say it's very important when we have, openings come up for people to get involved on committees. This way the residents have more input on what's happening, and you can keep your neighbors informed. You have input on what's going down, how things are gonna work. 'Cause, it's our future, so.
That would lead to the second committee that we're looking to discuss afterwards.
Yeah, like planning committee,
We're gonna-
it's important that the residents get involved.
In the financial budgeting one, is the board comfortable with moving that forward?
Yeah, fine. Mhm.
Alright, no vote, it's just, we're my phone.
Right.
The second committee would be the important one that is gonna be for the new municipality building. Obviously, this is gonna be our number one goal over the course of the next year, as into finding out what, how, when, where, and everything like that. Would the board like to consider create a municipal committee? Some members of the board, some members of the staff, possibly a member from the public.
Clearly identified people that are gonna be responsible, reporting their progress as they go along,
Correct,
and also including the public in the discussion,
correct.
absolutely.
Mhm. Yes,
Sure.
Alright, then that, both of those move forward, but to do that, I need you to rescind 703.
fine.
I need a motion and a second to rescind the resolution 703, so the other two can move forward for possible creation.
Can I ask a question?
Ask a question, ask a question.
Sure. So in like regards to 703 and just like what I'm hearing here, so you wanna form some other committees to get input to give to the board,
Correct.
alright? So, I don't know what 703 is
Does
exactly.
not allow a board member to be on a committee.
Okay, so then that's where I kinda like, oh, okay, so I like the idea of the committees, but then if you have a board member on the committee, doesn't that kind of set the stage to have that committee follow what maybe that board member suggests? Because that board member would then know what the rest of the board would approve or not approve of. I guess I'm just kinda stuck on that point a little bit.
Understandable, yeah, absolutely, and that's the question that we've been going back and forth with Kathy has in regards to what she mentioned last time, the last meeting. As into whether or not a board member, are you giving a board member too much power? Because if they're on the committee, and the committee comes with a recommendation, then they're also voting on that same recommendation.
Right.
Do they really have too much power, right? And I agree, and I understand where that resolution comes from, right? The only difference I have is to get this committee out there, it can't be all the public and staff. It has to be involved with some part aspect of the board, has to be on that committee so they can report back as into what's going on. What my goal is to make sure that the majority of the committee is not board members. So if the majority of it is not board members, then the board member could be outvoted if he wanted to. I mean, if you have 5 individuals and only 1 board member, or 2 board members, there's still 3 other individuals, right? So it doesn't matter. The idea is to make these committees more of an asset to the board, as in being able to report back and be able to work outside and get things done, rather than, and with the public, rather than just simply come to a board meeting, all right, everything's on the board, oh yeah, approved, done.
Okay.
Where's the discussion? Where's the committee? They had no idea what was going on, these two, right? And because there was just a particular group that was running things.
No, I mean, I get that, it's just, like I said, I'm thinking.
And I understand.
You
I agree.
want the committee, so you get alternate input, but I would think at the end of the day, the board would still be able to override whatever the committee suggests, right?
And that is, the board will be able to override anything. Obviously, the board has final say,
Okay.
right? You can actually look at this, I mean, again, is it the same? No, it's not the same. But when you have a school district has multiple committees. The school board directors are on those multiple committees. Not once have I ever seen where it became a conflict of interest or an error where the person that was in charge of, say, the financial committee would sit there and say, well, I want a raise of 10%. And then the board said, well, he gets another vote at 10%, so it's actually like 2 votes. That's actually, I've never seen that come into play. I'm not saying it can't. Obviously, it's possible. The idea is that the individuals that I see here on this board are different than in the past, and they're here mainly to make sure that we're doing things more transparent and more involvement with the public, and make sure we're ahead of the curve instead of being behind the curve like we've been.
And why couldn't a lead person, one of our residents, be the lead person, have all the information and share it with the board?
The committee can decide however they want who the lead person is.
No, I'm saying, how come somebody from the public, they could be the lead
There's
person?
too much
but
legal
we
and
still end up
contracts
making-
involved. Yeah,
Making the decision.
There's too many legal issues and contracts that have to be negotiated and such when it comes to the municipality building to have it strictly a community involved. It has to have some board and the township manager is gonna have to be involved.
So could you excuse those 2 committees from that 7 of 3? I mean,
They can do anything they want, if they wanna just exclude those 2 committees versus any other committees, if they like the way, I mean, you would have,
Seven
one
of-
way ask you more on that part.
Okay.
So, 2 things. There's no legal conflict with rescinding that resolution. Additionally, the resolution itself is more a policy and less a rule. So, you don't actually have to follow it, because it's a resolution. It's more of a policy, it's more this is us saying that this is how we're going to conduct business, but it's not, there's no legal penalty. So legally, it's really up to you. Now, rescinding the policy itself is still an option to be done, if you wanna be clear about there's no legal ramifications to doing it. So from our standpoint, you are fully within your right to do this and serve on this board.
I'll say this, I'm not a fan of deciding, oh, we're gonna follow the policy, we're not gonna follow the policy, we're gonna follow the policy, we're not gonna follow the policy.
The resolution was tying the board's hands from doing what they needed to do
Correct.
practically.
Well,
The
it
board can
just-
decide on any circumstance, this
Right.
is how we're gonna do it, you know?
I do remember, I remember why this wasn't added.
Yes.
Okay, which is a whole different story. So, the only thing that I don't like is that it, on certain committees, it does give a commissioner 2 votes. So, if there's a way to eliminate that, these 2 committees that we're talking about, financial and municipal, I don't even think that would apply to that, because we're talking about,
They're non-voting committees,
yeah,
so.
they're non-voting
it may
committees,
not
they're,
apply at all.
like informational, which was a word. 703, you're right, it does sound more like policy, but it wasn't designed really to keep everybody off. Enough said, I'm good.
Are we gonna try to keep number 703 and then exclude these two, cause they are non-voting, or are we gonna rescind 703? Oh, okay, I'll put it
I'm
up
ready
to vote.
for, we gonna vote on this?
We're gonna vote.
Yeah.
Rescind, aye or nay? Aye? All
Aye.
those in favor? Aye. All
Aye.
those in, aye. I need a
You
motion?
need a motion.
I need a motion to rescind 703.
Motion.
I need a second. Well, if I don't hear a second,
You second.
I can't second, I'm not.
Yeah,
allowed
you
to
can.
second. I'll second. I'll second it then. Alright, all those in favor of rescinding 703?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against?
Nay.
Just Tyrone?
Well, what I'd like to see the residents from different neighborhoods come together, pick location, and they can give us feedback as they go along. Make sure we don't impact anybody's community, without them people being okay with it. You know, of course, the township building has to go someplace in Upper Pottsgrove. So I'm not one that want to just put a building in somebody's community and they don't want the building there. So to me, it's important that people can come together and decide where they want the building at. You know, if we need a new township building, let the public get involved and decide where they want it. And I think everybody should have put their 2 cents in it.
And that discussion can be after we create the committee level discussion. That's a separate discussion. Right. Alright, we go 4 to 1, 4 to 1. Tyrone, what did you vote for though? I need
On
to know.
703.
On 703, are you yay or nay?
I'm not voting at all right now.
One abstention then.
So.
It's 3 to 1, 1. 3, 1, 1. Alright, as for the other two, we'll move them forward. Alright, next thing here. Discuss new employee structure. Okay, so this is for the board to discuss, understand that, okay, I met with all the employees over the past week and such like that, right? Obviously, the chief is with us and he's gonna be the acting temporary, interim manager up until the 30th. After the 30th, we do not have anybody, although we had hired a company to do the search, we do not have anybody. We had to decide if we're going to try to hire somebody, if we're going to appoint somebody, because February 1st is coming up very quickly, or if we're looking at possibly just doing a temp person for office administration to help out with the administration and office work and allow the particular individuals to do their jobs. And then, of course, if it's something that has to go to approval for the board would then have to approve it. It's sort of like, it's difficult because if you don't have someone there as the manager, then who's going to be the person that's overseeing checks and everything like that? Obviously, Lisa can do some things with the checking. Sherry can do some things with her department. Jeremy can obviously do things with his department. But they reach a certain point where it has to go to some person. Right now, we do not have that person. So the question just is, do we want to look to hire somebody? Or are we looking to hire a temporary office not a manager, but an office assistant person from like a hiring company or something like that, so that they can get a little bit more off of their work, off of their jobs, so they can actually maybe make sure that things are done. And I can't answer that question, that's something the board has to discuss.
The township needs a manager, so I say we should search, hire a manager, have a permanent person in place.
We agree to that, we all already agreed to that. It's
Okay.
February 1st.
Okay,
We won't be, we're agreed to do the search. The search is being done, we're gonna hire a manager.
okay.
Right, but
So
the
you
question
want
is,
somebody in
What do we
between-
do on the 1st, February 1st?
Okay. so
Are we
that's-
putting out just general application as in let people apply? Are we going to try to go to a temp company? What are we looking for on February 1st?
Okay, can I just say, I do know someone who's reached out to me twice as an interim
Right.
manager. Can we at least consider this person? I have said to them, please write up like a resume, a report,
Mhm.
you know, so we have something to go on. Not just to say, hey, you know, I could talk to him this week, I could see if he's still interested, get a report, send it to everybody, and see what we think. What about that? I mean, it's a start. I think we do need someone just to, I mean, even managers, just someone to take some of the work off of their shoulders. I mean, you know, we're down to 3 people right now, too.
Two.
Can I ask the solicitor something?
Yes,
Is this the kind of discussion we can take into executive session because it's personnel?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good.
Alright. Then we'll discuss that in the executive session after this meeting. So, but it is not actionable, it is simply, we're not approving anything. Yeah, actually, no, that one we may have to approve some action, because
Well, we come out of
if we're gonna
executive
allow
session.
somebody to apply for the
Mhm.
position before February first, we're not gonna meet before February first. There will be an executive session with possibility of action afterwards for personnel. Alright, we're gonna move on to the next